I didn't prepare any jokes, so I'm just gonna improv today. Alright, so next we have Gabi. I'm not gonna pronounce her last name, but she's a junior at Homestead, and she attended the California State Summer School of Arts for Creative Writing. And today she'll talk about how you can gain creative power from fear, and how she can try to inspire people with just different interests. So let's get up for Gabi.
Thank you. Okay. So I have two great fears in life, and one of them is sharing my writing, and the other one would be public speaking. Now, currently I'm doing the latter, but in February of 2015, I shared 6 of my most personal pieces that I've ever wrote, and submitted them as applications to the California State Summer School of the Arts, also known as CISA for those of us who can't be bothered with long names. And in these 6 pieces of poetry and plays and short stories, I poured out more than I've ever poured out in any of my other pieces of writing. And it was an extremely scary experience because these 6 pieces would determine if I would go to this school of my dreams, and they would be judged by professional writers. And as somebody who's not a professional writer, that's kind of intimidating. I had this idea that a writing should be shared only between the writer and their voice. And that idea and that image of somebody pounding or pounding at a piece of paper at 3 a.m. in the morning, or as they crumple it up and throw it across the room, that was the height of writing. And, well, doing all these things to be judged if I was going to be a great writer as well was also super intimidating. So writing became this process of self-hate, and every time I would edit, I would find myself writing in the margins of these pages that this is the scariest thing I've ever done. I'm never going to attempt this again, and I'm not going to finish it. Well, the moment that I sent those applications into Sacramento, I had crossed this threshold into the abyss. I had left this place of warmth and comfort and security, and I had entered this cold and sharp reality, which isn't beautiful until you make it to be. Now, we all know what the comfort zone is. It's this place, this non-quantifiable place that we've built fear by fear, brick by brick, and these walls of this house are of past experiences and what-ifs, and they close in on the space that we live in. And sometimes these walls tremble. We can make them tremble when we read inspirational posts about carpe dieming the day and on Facebook and on Instagram. I mean, we've all seen those. But the second that you close your laptop screen or the second that you turn off your iPhone, those walls go back to the same place, and you're returning to your self-imposed maximum security prison sentence. Now, at CISA the first day, I was told by this teacher and playwright who's incredibly amazing and inspiring, named Zay Amsbury, that we have to leave our comfort zone, leave what's comfortable. We have to leave the house and enter the streets. Now he was saying this to a room of 80 creative writers who had never before left their house and who had never before moved to a college campus for a month in order to pursue their dream of writing so vigorously. And so it was as if he didn't acknowledge the experience of having to apply to this program, and he didn't acknowledge this experience of having to travel across the country for some and travel across the world for others. And he didn't acknowledge the experience that we had to integrate ourselves into this society for a month. And, well, that was also very terrifying. But the chaos that ensued afterwards, after he issued this challenge, which we had no rules attached to. We didn't have to write about it, we didn't have to talk about it. It was just for ourselves and for our own experience. The chaos that ensued afterwards can only be described as one of the most beautiful things a teenager can experience. I mean, you have people who are 15 to 18 grasping within themselves at concepts that they had cowered away from before. It was as if they were touching hot coals, and any sort of fear that they had of getting burnt was abolished. And we were pursuing this all at such a quick, fast pace, all in the name of self-discovery and exploration. And I think there were so many great experiences of what people were doing. These concepts, they were questioning concepts and foundations that they had built themselves upon. And the closest thing that I can relate to, and I explain this to other people, is a Jenga structure. You have this platform, the structure that you've built, and we were basically pulling on that bottom wooden brick, and we can feel the structure shaking, and it's incredibly terrifying because we know that if we pull it out and it falls, we lose. But we know that if we do succeed in pulling it out successfully and placing it on top, that we have created the next level, that we have reached this new potential, and we can build even higher. So students went about pursuing this challenge in a variety of ways. Some people shared pieces of writing that they were extremely terrified to do so. Other people wrote about very personal experiences, and yet others spoke truths that they never thought the light of day would see. But there was one kid who particularly took this challenge in a completely different way. During a privately organized poetry reading, he stepped on stage and asked for all the lights to be turned off. He announced that this was a scary thing that he was doing, and asked for a single flashlight to be aimed at him. And so, as he began to read, he took off his wristwatch, he began taking off his jacket, and by the time he got to the end, he was standing in his boxers in front of the whole 80-person crew of creative writers and his mentors. Now, no one really knows why he picked this, and no one can really explain the thought process behind doing such a thing. But I think it's also really important to note that it doesn't have to be necessarily reaching within yourself to grasp this extremely profound piece of thought or fear that we have within us. This can be simply something that can bring a rush of blood to the cheeks or a simple nervous giggle when we think about it. It can be also extremely terrifying things, but it can also be something that's not. We have a whole spectrum to experience. And so, with that in mind, I challenge you all to do the same thing. Each month, do something that completely terrifies you. Something that makes you tremble with nervousness, or that makes you go weak at the knees. And then, once you have it, do something with it. Simply doing that scary thing won't be enough, I guarantee it. Make some poetry with it. Write a comedy sketch, talk to your friends about it. We sit for 8 hours a day at school, and then we come home and we sit some more. And, well, doing something like this can really put us to the next level and reach us this new potential within us. And so I think once you do this, you need to share the scary thing that you did. It's human nature to want to shout it from the mountaintops or scream it from the roofs. Whatever it is, you should share it. And so I challenge all of you to leave your comfort zone, to try and exit your house, but definitely to enter the streets. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gabi. So next, we're gonna watch another video by Don. So we just sit back and relax. Thank you.